got 36 of these. And then a whole bunch of stuff over here now. Some of this is garden as well. And then we've got seeds too for garden. So we'll see what it all looks like once it's in the pots. And we started all these morning glories from seeds, which is one of my favorite flowers. Unfortunately, it doesn't start to flower until, gosh, sometimes very late August to early September. And then as soon as it gets cold, that's it, they're done. So try to start them early this year, hoping to get some flowers a little earlier in the season. You want to get a nice mix of colors and plant the ones that you're going to have in full sun. Make sure you're using flowers that do well in full sun. And then the ones that you're going to have in the shade, you can pick flowers that do well in part sun or shade. And I know it doesn't look like very full right now, but those grow pretty good. Give them some shots of Miracle Grow, and that will get very full and trail down and look beautiful. I'm using my pots from prior years, and that one has a big crack in it, so we're going to replace that one with a new one. And I can take that potting soil that was in there and I'll transfer it over to some of the other pots. You can reuse the potting soil from a previous year or two, as long as you're adding a granular fertilizer. You can mix it in while you're planting, or you can Miracle Grow them periodically according to the instructions on the package. So you don't have to buy new potting soil every year. This pot, I'm going to use a mix of a red geranium and then one of those yellow, it'll fill out and be a nice filler and grow over and spill over the sides of the pot, and then add a little white filler as well. So I've just kind of broke up all the soil here, and I've got a little extra side pot here that if I need to take some of the soil out to make room for the flowers, you can do that. And dig down deep enough for your flower to fit in there. Oops. And just take that and fill in the soil around it. You want to make it just even with the bottom of the plant. That's that. Now we'll add our yellow one. So again, I've dug a little bit of a hole there and then set that right in there. That's a nice full plant. And these will grow, you know, in about a month or so. They're going to fill up this whole pot, and I have just a little bit of room here for that little white one. So we'll spread that dirt around. And then I'm going to dig just a little hole again for that white one. I'm just going to take one of these. This one doesn't need to go very deep, so I'm just going to set that right there and then spread the dirt around it. Add some of that dirt that I have taken out of the plant. And that one is done. So again, I'm going to take some petunias, plant those, and that's going to really fill out and take up probably at least a good half of this after it starts growing and spreading. So I may just add one or two things on this side. I'm thinking some yellow, purple and yellow. We live in Royalton, so that's our school colors. Why not do it? I'll come over here and get a couple of these nice bright yellow marigolds. And it's pretty easy to wet everything down before you go to plant. That way they come out of the containers easily and you don't do any damage. You want to very carefully pull them out by just grabbing the base part and pulling it out of the container. And then you dig a little hole there and put that in there and then cover it up with the dirt around it. I decided on this one to add a little bit more of this white flower. and just kind of put that in there. The fun of doing pots is using your creativity in mixing colors, but just making sure that you use the flowers for the pots that you're going to have in full sun and flowers for part shade or shade, so you don't have any issues with the flowers dying because they're not getting the right light. So here are my finished products. Now we just need some hot weather and sunshine. I love this pot the best. It's my patriotic pot. The roses are finally in bloom. Another pot. That one's kind of taken off nice. That one. He's picking up a little bit. This pot, we just put some of our lemon leaf that was growing wild in the garden. Our bird is so loud. I love birds, and we feed them. As you can see, the suet over there and so forth, but some little songbird has taken up residence in this barn birdhouse, and it is just a chatty Cathy. I love that little bunny rabbit sneaking into my pots. This tomato plant's doing really well on the patio. We got another one over here. I think this one actually needs a little more sun. This chair is kind of blocking it. It gets moved around when we're sitting out there. And then I've got a hanging plant up here that is mostly in the shade, and I think this week when it's sunny I'm going to take it and set it out in the sun for a little while each day. I think they just do better when they get a little direct sun. Then I've got my 2 pots on my little bicycle. And we've got some impatiens in there. And these will really get big and fill the back of this truck. And another couple pots there. More patriotic, along with my flag that I painted, which reminds me, I've got to get painting on my flags to sell. And the garden is planted. See if any corn has popped yet. I don't know, this side of the garden, for some reason, the corn is just not doing anything, but our sunflowers are up, and that's good this year. We had a bunny rabbit that was coming to eat my collard greens, so I had to cover it with some, what do you call that? It's like a netting. And all our tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, collard greens, all the different herbs. Zucchini, which the leaves, some of it was yellowing because we've had so much rain and it's just been so wet back here. And on this side I've got a little corn coming up, so I don't know why this side the corn is sprouting, but the other side just doesn't want to. And my little scarecrows that are supposed to keep the bunny away, they're not doing a good job. The daisies are in their last few days of blooming. I'm not sure what this is called, but I love the color. And then the last thing I think that I've planted over here was impatiens. Love this snowball bush. And then my flower boxes. Problem is, this side of the shed gets some sun during the early morning, so what I planted in there is doing well. Over here is really constantly in shade. And as I was stating earlier, pick your flowers that are going to do better in shade if you have something that's going to be mostly in the shade. So I think I might have to, I like the flower boxes to be even. So I'm not really sure what to do with this. I'm going to have to make an executive decision on whether to take those things out and maybe plant them in the ground somewhere and take some of those impatiens that I had in the back of the truck. By the way, that truck is getting painted. He's done some rust work on it because that truck is really not meant to be outside, but we did a little work on it and we're going to paint it, so I will do a video on that. But anyway, I think I might have to rethink these flower boxes, and while that stuff is still alive, move some things out of there and maybe put some impatiens in there, because those do well in the shade, and those boxes looked really, really nice last year. I've got a little bicycle thing on the fence there, and it's hard planting things in it because there's not much soil in those little baskets. And then over here, there's some sort of a very short little carnation. And we just finished doing the bricks, so we have to get some mulch. Those are always pretty. And I got a couple more hanging plants. That was a gift from my mom and dad for Mother's Day. There's a couple other pots we planted. So I'm anxious now that we have finally got the pond working. Oh my gosh, I've been working on this for the last couple months, trying to figure out what was wrong with it. And we thought the pond was leaking, and it may have been on one spot, but it was also the pump. And so that was just not very much fun, but finally got it fixed. So now we can finish doing the bricks around this area and get our mulch, and everything will be done in the yard for the year. It's my little outdoor washing area, which is not really a washing area. It's just meant for looks, but I thought it was cute. So I planted some stuff in there too, and I hope that these things do okay, because they do get a little bit of afternoon sun from about 3-4 o'clock on, but in the morning it is completely shaded. So there you have it. And I just spray painted these chairs the other day, so they look all nice and almost brand new. And there's our patio. And I spray painted these chairs the other day as well, so those are looking all shiny and new. And what else? Oh, one last hanging pot, which again, I think this needs to be turned periodically. If you have a hanging pot and one side of it is, mostly getting shade, this is what will happen. This side is not blooming as well, so we're gonna have to keep turning this so it gets some sun, or I can take it off of there, maybe hang it out in a part of the yard for a couple days where it'll get some sunshine. We all need sunshine, right? Oh, there's another pot. Forgot about that one. That one's got some yellow marigolds, but they just have not. They've got some blooms there, but they haven't opened yet. So that's my planting for the year. Still got a little pruning of some trees to do, but I'm very happy with the pots, the way they've turned out, and I just hope we get some good, solid string of days where we have some nice warm temperatures and sunshine, so this stuff will really start taking off.